Good evening, empowered women and men, I see you, of Mississauga. My name is Heather Elliott. I am the CEO and founder of this great organization, Empower Canada. My job here this evening is to host you, along with two of my very special guests, and I know you've met both of them. Nicole McLaren Campbell, let's hear it for Nicole. Clint, author of your favorite book, yeah? And creator of the Make It Count movement that's taking the Caribbean and no doubt the world by storm. Nikki Clark, the NDP, MPP representative for this region. Let's hear it for both of them. Yeah, we'll be hearing from both of them in a very short time. Now, I have a few things that I have to cover, but before I do that, it would be remiss of me to not include one of our signature networking activity. This is Empower Canada Women's Network, right? And I know some of you came in here alone, and you came in, you probably had a drink and loosened up a little bit, but you still don't know many of the people that you're standing beside. So, think musical chair. Yeah, come on, it's not that scary. Think musical chair, but this time it's much more useful, and to be quite honest with you, much more practical. Believe it or not, at some of these events that we've hosted across Canada, we've had deals and partnerships bartered in fashion in similar fashion. So we're hoping that at least you'll know the name of your neighbor by the time you leave here, right? I'm going to ask Jeremiah to help me out. Here is how this works. So we're going to take this about 3 or 4 minutes just to warm up for a little bit. You can look around you right now. The idea is when the music starts, you're going to move to your closest neighbor. Could be to the right or behind you, to the left, front, whichever. And then when the music stops, you have an opportunity to get to know that person a little bit better.
True.
Okay? At least their name, where they're from. Do they have a cat? Do they have a dog? Do they like Jamaican food? Do they like curry? No, whatever you want to ask them. Get their business card, get their phone number, whatever. If you made a connection with that person, you don't know where it could take you, right? And this is what this event is about. Let's go! Right there. I'm going to spend the next few minutes and talk to you just a little bit about who we are and why this organization was created in the first place. Is that okay? Yes? Okay, good. So, Empower Canada was created out of the need for just this, curated networking among women of color. Okay? When I founded this organization just over 3 years ago, I was new to doing business in Canada, brand new. I mean, I've been here, many times throughout my life, but sort of operating a business 3 years ago, it was brand new to everything here. So I was new to networking as well, having traveled here for work and play. I knew that the lack of diversity in corporate networking wasn't entirely new to me, but I'll tell you exactly what changed the narrative for me. The specific idea to do something came about when my PR firm, I run a PR operation in New York, when my PR firm was hired by a multinational corporation with offices both in the United States and Canada. My team and I were charged with putting together, along with the Canadian organizers, the top 100 women in business in corporate Canada for my client, who was the main sponsor at the time. After the submissions were tallied, I was stunned to find out that among the 100 nominees, believe it or not, there was not one woman of color. In my mind, I was saying, no way is this fair, no way. You know, I live in New York, in America, where the diversity is far-reaching, and I was saying the top 100 women in corporate Canada, and there was not one person of color. This just can't be. So, as a woman of color myself, a businesswoman in Canada, and a leader in my field at the time, I felt I had to do something to help Canada change its narrative on diversity. And obviously on networking and inclusion, you know, in my own little way. The people who know me best often describe me as a passionate person. I'm passionate about women's development and empowerment. Personally, I see the best in women, everybody, really, despite their circumstances, despite their mistakes, despite their opportunities, despite their personalities, and even their personal feelings towards me. You know, it's life. I want women to win, genuinely, I do. I do not have to know you personally to help you succeed. You can ask the many people, you know, who know me and who know of people who know me. I have helped women launch their businesses with my own personal funds. I have given scholarships to young women who are less fortunate. I have even raised children who are not my own. And I have and continue to mentor many young girls and women to become their best selves. I was carried personally on the shoulders of very strong women in my grandmother and my mother, and I'm one of, kind of, the strongest woman I know. So when times when it's called for, I do my absolute best to push other women forward, and that is what Empower Canada is about. That is how we were born, really. We stand by the 3 E's of our corporation. If you look at the banner outside, it will give you a little bit of details, and you have it in your booklets. The 3 E's are empower, embrace, and emerge. I'll tell you a little bit about what they stand for. We empower minority women to embrace each other and work together to emerge successful with possibilities and results that come from a robust network, all of you and our 38,000 other members across Canada and the region, of strong, powerful women helping each other. So for example, if there's someone in this room who's desirous of opening a business, just don't know where to start, you have the willpower, you think you have the creativity, you just don't know, you just don't have the know-how, or maybe you need a little push. We use our network to help you from scratch to achieve that. And we do this for free, complimentary. So that's what we're about. The same is true for those who are seeking mentorship and coaching. We offer these resources for free, as I said, by recommendation of our network. And as a collective, we're working with the Government of Canada on this. We'll soon embark on initiatives that will offer monetary assistance towards your business goals. Hear, hear? Amen. Yes. So if your email is registered with us, you'll be getting a lot of information over the course of the time, especially when our fund or our grant is given to us, hopefully, very soon. Then we'll be able to interview some of you and find out what your business goals are and help you achieve those goals. We believe very highly in women entrepreneurship, right? Women rock? Yes? Yes. Right? Who runs the world? Girls. Yes, that's right. Sorry. We encourage and foster self-development, social advancement, continued education. You know, it's always good to continue learning. It's even to read a book, right? We promote self-sufficiency by way of entrepreneurship, activism by way of citizen leadership, culture, responsibility, and philanthropy. We want you guys to be community stalwarts. We want you to be community activists and community leaders. And so we help you get there. You know, we'll talk to Nikki, who will be running in the MPP race coming up, and she will tell you a little bit about why she did what she did and, you know, her role in this neighborhood. The catalyst for all of this, though, all of what I've just said, is the social aspect of our networking initiatives. A lot of engagement and even deals and business partnerships, like I said earlier, and negotiations are made in events just like this one, in this room. So social events is very big on our agenda, And no doubt, you'll get invited to some more of these. I've already spoken to you about we're growing every day. You know, we're now 38,000 strong, and I think probably by mid-year we'll probably be a little over 45 or so. So there's definitely a need for that in Canada, right? By now, you have an excellent idea of how we network and how we collectively support each other. We encourage women to become activists and leaders and change makers, and we support them in that quest. And I'm about to introduce you to one such change maker. Nikki Clark is the NDP representative for the Malton Mississauga region. Nikki, who is Jamaican born, holds a diploma in social sciences from John Abbott College, and at McGill University studied film and communications. Gifted with acquiring languages, Nikki is fluent in English, French, and Spanish. Nikki was an instructor at Sheridan College in the Faculty of Early Childhood Education, the School of Business and Community Development from 1999 to 2009. Nikki was elected the president of Ontario Black History Society in November of 2015. Nikki's also an author and founder and producer of the Nikki Clark Show. She's currently studying, you do a lot, Nikki. She's currently studying ministry in the theology program at Canada Christian College and is an ordained lay pastor. Please help me welcome empowered woman, Nikki Clark.
Thank you for that amazing introduction. Wow, that is my theme song. I think we're all every woman. Am I right? Make some noise for that. First off, I just want to thank Heather Elliott. Oh my, it is so wonderful to finally meet you face to face. We've been corresponding for some time now, and I always believe it's about timing.
Yes.
And the timing was right. It was just, we had to marinate what was happening, and now the seasoning just set in perfectly, and now we're here. And look at this beautiful turnout. So congratulations. Oh, it is such a pleasure to be here, and I'm really feeling very blessed right now. I went around and I met some amazing empowered women. And I just want to say that I'm very proud of you. I've heard some of your stories, and I'm going to get to know more about you. But you're at the right place, a place of positivity, a place where we can breathe life into each other and to feel empowered. Be empowered, empower others. And that's why we are here tonight. So I just want to share a little bit about my story. You know, I am Nikki Clark, the candidate, but there's always a story behind a story. Am I right? So mine isn't really any different from anyone else. I started off like everyone, a little girl. Came to Canada in 1970, 3 years old. So okay, so now you know my age. And we came, my parents, young 20-somethings with the high hopes of making a great life for themselves and their little girl in the land of milk and honey. That was the promise. So we arrived in the dead of winter in Montreal, Quebec, in an all-white, all-French neighborhood. Montrealers out here? Okay, we gotta talk. So there was a lot of adjustments to make, and when we arrived, we didn't know, there was no preparation for the racism that we had to deal with, sometimes on a daily basis. So my first 2-3 years experience, early childhood experience, was combating confrontational racism. So there was one particular incident that kind of changed my life in the way that my parents had to pour extra life into me. A little girl, when we were coming out of our family car from a grocery run, we did this every Saturday, she came and she kind of slammed me to the car and started to punch and call me racial epithets. And I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned. And I didn't feel the blows, but I was just confused as to why I was the brunt of all her hatred. So she ran off, and my father ran after her, and there was an ugly confrontation that ensued. But as I stood there, my mother picked me up, and she was very upset, brought me inside the house, and she wanted to talk to me and explain to me what happened. And I said, well, why did that little girl hate me so much? I didn't understand. 4.5 years old. It's a concept that you're not raised to know. But this is where my mother and my father, who came in later, with tears in his eyes, he had to explain to me what racism was. And he told me that I would have to deal with some of that, but to know that I was special and that I had to be strong. And at that time, there was no room to make mistakes as a black girl. So I had to do everything right because I was the one of, or the first of, in almost everything. So that was my early preparation for life. I had to be strong, and I had to do everything very well. So I excelled in school because I had no choice. Jamaican parents, academically, so excelled in school, and got my college behind me, and I went to university, and I started a program that my parents selected for me. You know, the choice was, you can be a teacher, accountant, lawyer, or doctor. So I did the safe thing. I went into industrial relations, and I fell asleep every class. It was so boring. And then I turned on the TV one day, it was 1987, and I saw this beautiful black woman. Wow, she was eloquent, and she had this bubbly personality, and she reminded me of me, Oprah Winfrey. It was like one of her first shows. And I thought, wow, I want to be like her. So my bright self now. Supper time comes, I sit down and have a meal with my parents, and I said, Mom, Dad, guess what? I want to be a talk show host. So how do you think that went down? There's no money in TV. Okay then, I guess I'll stick to the choices you gave me. So I went ahead, finished my education, and I became a teacher. So as a teacher, I learned quite a bit about myself and about the children that came into my life. And they weren't just names, but everyone had a personality. Everyone had a life force that I felt was a special responsibility that I had to nurture. And I did that for 10 years in different levels of education, kindergarten all the way up to high school. And then I got a position teaching at Sheridan. So I taught ECE at the college level, did that for 10 years. And I also started a family. I got married when I was in university. 3 children. When my little boy turned 15 months, my marriage fell apart. So I was raising 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy, on my own. And my hustle was so hard, I was finding myself finding 1 job per child. I used to joke about that. Yeah, I have 3 jobs, 1 per child. Just to make ends meet, because it was hard to put everything together. So that's what I did, and it gave me a persistence, a resilience that I didn't know I had. You know, sometimes you don't know how strong you are until you have to be. And I had to, those early days were really tough. I had to, you know, you have a spiritual well. And you know, like wells, when you're going and you're digging really deep, if anyone knows what I'm talking about, when you go really deep into the well, that's when you get the pure water. That real pure water. That's where I had to go. I had to go to that purity to reach and get the spiritual refreshment that I needed to keep going on a daily basis. And only God could do that for me. So I kept my faith, and I kept going. And I pushed through in all those 3 jobs. And I had a calling to do something a little bit more. So the voice I heard was, you can teach, but teach differently. You can reach, but reach differently. So I started a talk show called The Nikki Clark Show, which invited people from all walks of life to come and share their heart stories. So reaching out to the community, every background, to share a little bit about themselves, because there's so many unsung heroes. And there are like, I don't know how many, but 100? Every single one of you, you're an unsung hero. Or you're a sung hero because you're here.
Nicole is a graduate of St. Andrew High School for Girls. What? St. Andrew in the house? Nicole is a graduate of St. Andrew High School for Girls, the Phillips Academy Andover, Princeton University, and the University of London School of Advanced Studies and School of African and Oriental Studies. Nicole, a respected entrepreneur, is also the founder of the Aim Higher Foundation. The AIM Foundation's mandate is to identify, develop, and empower promising low-income students so they too can unlock their potential through access to tertiary education. Her vision is to inspire youth globally to aim higher. She serves on the board of the Early Childhood Commission in Jamaica, the Heart Trust NTA, the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission, and the Chase Fund in Jamaica as well. Now, at the age of 14, Nicole was highlighted by Teen People magazine as one of the 20 teenagers who would change the world. Imagine that. Yes, and that is what I believe she's attempting to do with her movement and certainly with her book. Nicole will be unleashing a little bit of her power to you for just a few minutes, after which we'll officially make it count. You ready for Nicole?
See all set up.
What a great song. Hi everybody. Good night. Thank you so much. Heather, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I'm overwhelmed. Make It Count really came to me because I love, so from a born, I love to talk. I don't know if you've guessed. And I also, just as long as I know myself, I've wanted to inspire and uplift people and really to help them to see what's inside of them and that all things are possible and that yes, indeed, you can do it and you can make it happen. And you know, I also really love to share on Instagram, as anybody who follows me knows, and I really see it as this very powerful tool for connection. And I've been so privileged to connect with many of you here tonight. And some of you guys are meeting, I swear we're friends in real life already, so it's like I'm confused. Like Sharika was like, wait, we don't know each other? Oh yeah, no, just Insta, okay. But such a powerful tool, and I love to connect, and I really derive so much energy from being able to connect and inspire and lift. And I would get these questions on Instagram and found myself always answering messages around the same themes, around the same topics. It's like, you know, how do you get your goals? How do you keep going? How do you get over fear? All of the same things. And so I pray every single morning and every night, and it's like, God tell me, you need to write a book. And of course, you know, sometimes when you get a message and you get you feel a calling and you have an urge to do something, and before you can even formulate the thought, the little voice comes in to tell you that you can't really do it, because it's not gonna really work. And who are gonna read that? And you're just over here in Jamaica, and nobody reads books. And so before I could even, you know, so I kind of shoved it aside. And I'm here tonight. If there's nothing else you get from my bag of talking tonight, please get that it's not up to you to shove aside. Because what you're called to do on this earth is more than you and your little feelings. Because it's about what you need to bring to the world, and somebody needs what you have. Somebody needs it. So that said, I did shove it aside, or tried to anyway. I'm like, oh no, I don't really need to do that. I'm focused on him. I don't have any time for that. I'm here helping kids get into college. I'm doing good. And the other thing that I want to leave with you is that what what looks like 100% to the rest of the world, if you know that that's only your 80%, well, that's not good enough. It might look like winning to the outside world, but if you know there's more inside of you according to your own definition and your own talents and your own possibilities and capabilities, well, then it's not enough.